So for a new process to come in, right? A new setup, I guess we'll be opting for DMADV, right? Just as we mentioned earlier, DMADV would be the best option for us, the methodology for us to use. And once the same gets implemented and we are into the processing, right? And then we have to identify ways wherein we can improve further. I guess then we can opt for DMAC methodology,
Yes.
and because that would be for the existing process, right? That we already have now, right? And DFS would be the last one for us out of these three, because what I understood is that when we are able to identify all the opportunities, right, for improvement, and now we are at a point wherein we would want RPA, right, or automation in. That's when we would be opting for DFS. Is what I guess I have understood from here.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
One more thing which I want to share, which is DMADV, is that, for example, let's talk about an organization which is ABC. Okay, it is situated in Hyderabad. It's situated in Bangalore, and the same process is being migrated to Delhi. Okay, the same process. The nature of business remains the same. It's just the employees would be different because they are expanding, they are coming up with more business, they're getting more demand. A question to the group is, can we go for DMADV?
No,
Not required.
not required.
Yes, because it is a process. It's not the setup that I'm talking about. Okay,
Right.
so that's what we need to understand. It is something which was never there earlier. Okay, and it depends
Altogether
on,
new.
altogether new. It depends upon the impact as well. So for example, let's take an example of any organization. Let's take an example of Amazon, right? Amazon is into uh, all kind of products. They started with books. Now they're coming up with everything, and in the future they will have tie up with Netflix and other stuff as well to become the leading competitor in the world also. Now, in that particular case, when the competitor already exists, when there is already a market for web series, okay, which is being done by one particular provider, they can work on the same kind of a principle, but come up with a newer design. So for example, now due to the current situation, the COVID situation we are into, we all know that we can't go outside. Okay, there is a new model which needs to be built to ensure that a way of working changes, so we would be able to deliver. We never know that in the next future we would be watching movies at home only, because that's what these industries are coming up with. So they have to come up with a new design. They would have to come up with a new process altogether. Maybe one competitor is already doing, but if they just repeat what the other competitors are doing, it is not DMADV. It has to be a newer kind of a design. Then only it is a DMADV. If you just copy and benchmark from one place to another, likewise, if one competitor is doing, you can also do the same kind of thing. It is not DMADV. It is just simple best practices. So that's what we need to understand. But if anybody wants to go for a full course, I would recommend first let's understand DMAC in detail and keep learning about DMADV in the side by side as well, learning from Google, from different places. Somebody said that he has done black belt from LinkedIn Learning also. There's a lot of courses on LinkedIn Learning also you can go through, which would help you move to the next ladder soon also. If you want to go for DMADV in the next phase, probably it would help you. But keep learning, keep sharing, and that's how you'd be able to learn it. Okay, but just for the benefit, our focus is on DMAC, which is define, measure, analyze. There is a lot of things in DMAC which we need to understand, which we need to learn, and this will definitely help you to learn the other methodologies as well. So,
Sorry to disturb one thing, Timothy, if you come if you come through the process means not manufacturing process with DMAC and DMADV and DFSS. I prefer if it is a new venture when people are going for a new setup, first should be a DMADV, next should be a DFSS and DMAC, right? because once whatever the defined measure analysis and design verification, whatever we do for the new business, next we have to go with the DFSS, what type of product that you have designed with the Six Sigma, later whether it is in control as you said for the existing process when it comes to the process, because DFSS will work for both, right?
DFSS will work for both, absolutely. Because, so what he's asking is a very good question. What he's asking is, DFSS is for the existing processes, but in DFSS also, when we say the cost of the defect is very, very high, it is something which wherein we have to eliminate all sort of manual work, because if the more the manual work is, it is more prone to errors. So DFSS would have DMADV for sure. Yes, you got it. You got it. Without DMADV sort of a technique, we cannot yield results in DFSS approach. So absolutely, without that we can't do it. So there's a lot of overlap between DFSS and DMADV when you will discover that. But yes, the only difference is DFSS is focusing on the existing process and DMADV is on the new process. But yes, there's a design thinking to be done in both the methodologies. Okay.
Actually, I had a observation and a couple of observations. So, like I'm hearing that DMADV and DFSS, because previously whenever they were discussed interchangeably. So, like DMADV and these two are the same, etc. And this is something new that I am learning here, actually, that DMADV and DFSS are separate. So, okay, good to know. And even for Dmaic, like for existing process for improvement, like even there, wouldn't there be several like bifurcations? So, for instance, like when you said y equals to f of x. So when the root cause is not easily identifiable, then we go for Dmaic. But when the root cause is easily identifiable, we go for a simple brainstorming, etc.
Okay, so let me address both the questions here. First, you ask that your understanding is that DFSS and DMADV is the same thing. But today you have discovered or learned that there is a bit of a difference between DFSS and DMADV. And your second question is that when the root cause is easily identifiable and in that particular case, we don't go for a DMAC. So I'll answer both the questions. DFSS and DMADV, it is the common thing is design here. Whatever the existing process that I have, working on that process anymore. Because if I work on that process, I would be at a saturation level wherein I would not be able to proceed further, wherein I would be able to not do any extraordinary result with that particular process. Therefore, I will have to come up with a new design. And that's the reason there's a slight difference between DFSS and DMADV. Though the design is new, but DFSS is a methodology which has reached to an extent which has done a lot of improvements, maybe a lean improvement, maybe a Six Sigma improvement, maybe a normal process improvement, maybe an initiative improvement, maybe a just do it improvement. Okay, it has reached to a level, but now I can't reach it to a level where my customer is looking for, and that's why focus is on Six Sigma, focus is on design, and that's what the only difference between DFSS and DMADV. The design is new, but DMADV तब करना है जब बिल्कुल नया सेटअप है. There is no process in place. There is absolutely fresh kind of a business that has got, wherein it's a new design, and I need to set up that process to ensure that I identify that what should be the design. Okay, wherein I'm brainstorming and identifying the design. In DMAC, I'm identifying the cause, that what is the problem. In DMADV, I am identifying what should be the design. मुझे भी design पता नहीं है, मुझे design पता करना है. DFSS में the process is already there, but I again coming up with a new design. So that's why when you must have gone through or when you must have spoken to any of your colleagues or mentors, that's why they were trying to make you understand that this is the same thing. So that's the only difference. But design is something which needs to look at. Okay. The second thing which you talk about is the Dmaic for process improvements. So there are different belts in Dmaic itself, which start from yellow belt, where the solution is kind of identified with the where the cause is kind of identified. We just need to deploy certain very basic tools. Then it's a green belt sort of a training wherein the impact is medium. Okay, in yellow belt, the impact is very, very low. Solution may or may not be known, but the cause is known. In a green belt sort of a program or in a green belt sort of a project, the impact is medium and the scope is not also wide. But in the black belt sort of a program, black belt kind of a program or a training, the impact is very, very high, wherein you're focusing on improving the profitability of the organization or maybe the cost optimization, wherein the focus is on the entire organization. Maybe these initiatives have come from the strategic initiatives or maybe the voice of the CEO. So that's why the impact, which plays a vital role, which is between green belt, black belt, and white belt. And the brainstorming that we can normally do to resolve a problem, for that we don't require any sort of methodology. We just walk up to a room, we do the brainstorming, we come back and we just deploy that. So it all depends upon the impact of the problem which we are looking at to resolve. But that is also for the existing processes. So in a nutshell, Dmaic is all for all the existing processes to do any sort of improvement where we can use DMAIC. DMADV is for a newer design, okay, wherein we want to come up with a new design, and DFSS is for coming up with a new design in the existing process. Have I answered your question?
Yeah. If it comes, the terminology, I think when we are talking about design, this DMADV and DFSS will get confused. Better, okay. As you have mentioned, for new business process, it is totally a different process that we are going to start in. That makes difference, I think, because DFSS, it is an existing design itself. My field, because I worked in every department, but I didn't follow any methodology. My experience, I'm saying.
Okay.
DFSS means that is an approach for the design where we can the right output of the design for the manufacturing or whatever the feasibility. There won't be any defect free when it is after getting manufactured. Is it true?
Absolutely. It is just, please complete.
Okay. Rahul this side, right? So Sima, you can just continue. I can just mention it later on. You can
Sima, just one more point actually. So, like you said, the different belts and all that, but isn't it more like a structure, like a single Dmaic project would contain a master black belt? A master black belt will be working on several Dmaic projects with black belt leading them, several green belts assisting the black belt, etc. So rather than every like a green belt or a yellow belt or a white belt, they won't normally get an entire Dmaic project to oversee. It's something like they will be working on the same initiative as a black belt. It's just a difference of knowledge about it. But when I was saying about Dmaic, I was specifically saying about the what you had already said, right? Y = f of x. So we have got a Y, that is, let's say the productivity is not high enough. What is the cause? And the cause of productivity not being high is, let's say, x1, x2. We are trying to find those x1, x2s, and for that we'll use Dmaic. But let's say if there's something in which the cause is identifiable, even for an existing process for an improvement, we would not go for Dmaic, right? We would like set up a brainstorm or a Kaizen event, etc. So that's what I was trying to say.
Absolutely, absolutely. So one very important thing which will come in the next slide is when we know the cause of the problem or when we know the solution of the problem, we would never ever apply DMAC. Okay. And when I'm saying DMAC, I'm majorly focusing on the green belt or black belt or master black belt. Okay. Because if I know the problem, if I know the cause or if I know the solution, then I don't need to use these methodologies, because here I'm defining, measuring, analyzing, improving, and controlling. In white belt or yellow belt sort of a program, which is focusing on very common tools, wherein I know the cause of the problem. It is just that I want to use certain tools, wherein I don't use this DMAC sort of a methodology, wherein I use a proper lean methodology or any sort of methodology which I can use on my own also. So some people use a maximizer kind of methodology, which is first is defining, second is a diagnostic approach, third is a remedial approach, and fourth is holding the gains. So any sort of methodology can be used for maybe a white belt, green belt, a white belt, or a yellow belt. But yes, I completely agree with you 100%. When we know the cause of the problem or when we know the solution of the problem, we shall never ever go for a DMAC kind of an approach. We should always do that when I don't know that. I might have some hypothesis around it. I think that this could be the cause, but unless I do a test, and in that case, I would not go for DMAC. So absolutely, I agree with you.
It's similar to my understanding, because this is the first time, because as I told you, I worked in so many departments also. When I also gone through whether I have to do green belt or yellow belt or something else. When I had gone through your the phases what you are going to cover in each and every green belt or yellow belt or black belt, there are some specifics about the when I compare everything, since we came from the ground level and at least now we are managers or general managers up to level. When it is an engineering level, we need to go with this belt to analyze, because that guy will be having a limited work and a limited control to work only in that quality, means he has to be in only in a quality department, right? When the more in green belt and yellow belt, more deep diving analysis work, everything will be there related in the process and the quality control into that. Whereas if you come to the DMAC and means DMAC black belt certification, it covers everything. Means maybe in a managerial and above position, people will prefer to understand in a macro level of all these green, black, yellow, and white. Is it true?
Absolutely. So these belts focuses on the impact, the criticality, and the tools and techniques that we're going to use. So absolutely right. In a black belt sort of a program, in a black belt sort of a training or a project, there are more extensive tools which are to be used, which is statistical in nature, wherein we are not only intended with the mathematical sort of analysis that we come up with. We believe in the statistical sort of analysis. That is what we do in the black belt, wherein unless it is not statistically proven, we will not say that this particular cause has an impact on Y. So although we would be covering these things in the upcoming sessions for sure, but at this point in time, I would say that in the green belt sort of a program, the impact is medium. We will not use a very hypothetical kind of statistical tools. It is the focus on the 7 quality tools and the basics of some control chart that we do, because the criticality of the problem is not that high. And that's the reason it is not required to use those tools. But in a black belt sort of a program, it is to be used. All the statistical tools which are required for that particular situation are to be used to come to that conclusion, because the criticality of the problem is very, very big, which cannot be resolved using certain tools. Okay. And the next thing which you talk about is the level of understanding, whether the person is at certain level to go for a black belt or a green belt sort of a training. This depends upon the individual as well. And if somebody wants to straight away go for a black belt sort of a training, because when we cover black belt, we cover from the scratch and each and everything, ensuring that everybody understand. Even though somebody has done a green belt in the past, he has to go through everything. And our program is designed in such a way that it refreshes what all we have covered in the past. So that's what it's all about.
I have a question on the comparison with Dmaic and DMADV. For going for DMADV, is it required that we have a data from the Dmaic?
So DMADV is not required to have a data, because DMADV is to be done, depends upon the benchmarkings to be done from a different providers, to collect different to conduct surveys, to prepare questionnaires, because I don't have a data for that. Okay, so it's a newer kind of a setup. It's a newer kind of a process. I don't know what has happened in the past, and there is nothing happened in the past. So it's a new process altogether. In that case, I first all have to collect the data. I have to do a lot of I have to do a lot of surveys. I have to design certain questionnaires. I have to meet customers. I have to understand what are their expectations, whether the customer wants. I have to do that kind of a study wherein I would be able to identify that how much is a customer effort, whether I'll be able to resolve the customer query in how many clicks of mouse as well. So it's a detailed study. It's called outcome expectation, where we prepare MVP also, which is called most viable product as well. So I will not get into that detail because it requires an extensive tools and techniques to be done. But just understand for this perspective program that DFSS or DMADV is to be done when we're trying to design something new, when we're trying to design a newer setup or a newer design, which we never had in the past. Okay. There are different tools and techniques used in all these different methodologies apart from DMAC, which due to the time constraint, we will not be able to get into that detail, because otherwise we will not be able to cover, which we really wanted to cover. But I said, if anybody wants to go for that, he can always go for these programs in the future. Okay. So that's my request is that we can really focus on the DMAC piece and keep sharing or keep learning it, what all things we can do. Okay. So have I answered your question?
Yeah.
Then we have a separate certification like black belt even in DMADV and DFSS
Yes.
in Henry Harvin.
Yes. So there's a design thinking kind of a program that you can go for, wherein you will be taught how to work on those kind of projects. So there's a lot of demand in the market nowadays for those certifications as well. But I would recommend. My
understanding with the DMADV is it starts from the scratch. Means a layman doesn't know about anything, starting a new venture.
Yes, that's right. But a person needs to have basic understanding about DMAIC also. It becomes easier for him. But if the person has got good experience, in the industry experience, then probably he can go for it. But if somebody wants to understand it quickly, then he can go for DMAC first. But yes, if somebody has got good experience like you have, around 15-16 years of experience, you would be able to relate. So there are different certifications available for DMADV as well as DFSS as well. So which anybody can, not a problem, not an issue.
Okay.
So let's proceed further. I think I have answered all the questions, but if anybody has any question, please refer me to this particular slide or any slide which we have covered, and I can go back to it. So I am going to move next.